It's been a while. It's been a while. I haven't streamed in. I streamed like a few weeks ago, or not a few days ago, but it was like a very small, short stream. So I'm back. I'm here. I'll wait for people to start filtering in, and then I'll tell y'all what I've been doing. Tonight I'm going to be working on a commission. Actually, I got a commission for a Elden Ring character. I've been doing some Elden Ring stuff, some Elden Ring drawings. So I have a few comics I've been working on, but in the meantime, I got a commission for this, and I can't wait to get into it because we're going to do. I think we're going to be using markers tonight, and my favorite Pentel brush pen. The Pentel brush pen. It's going to be somebody commissioned me for illustration of Malekith the Black Blade. Get started. Also, this is a historic evening because this is the eve of the release of Knights of Camelot. This is my comic book series, which comes out tomorrow on Kickstarter. The campaign launches first thing tomorrow morning. So, let's just quickly take a look at this. You guys can see all the work that went into this. Let me adjust the camera, because right now the saturation is a bit high, a bit over the top. It's making everything look very red. There you go. Let's just get the brightness up a little bit. There you go. All right, now we're looking quite normal. Yeah, this is my comic. This is Kickstarter launches tomorrow. The link is in the description. Please go check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. Look at this beautiful wraparound cover. Sketch covers are also available. This is all the knights from the classic story. Not all of them. Enough that we could start the story, but there are more going to appear over this, course of the series. This is just the first issue. So you have King Arthur, Kay, Gawain, Lancelot, Galahad, Bedivere, Bors, Dynadine, Percival. It's cool. Yeah, I worked on this a lot. It's 35 pages of some pretty great artwork, some fun storytelling. Look at that! Look at this artwork. Come on, it's based on the original King Arthur myth with some, some embellishments for action and adventure. But I try to stick to the story as much as I can. And yeah, I'm thrilled with how the printing came out. So you can see, I don't want to spoil too much of the book, but yeah, look at this artwork. This took like a year because I was drawing at the same time that I was working on Black Marrow 2 and another book and client work. So just for anybody watching, yeah, please click the link in my bio. In fact, stop watching. Click the link in my bio, follow the Kickstarter so you can be announced. You can get the announcement when it launches tomorrow. You can be announced. Like you're going to walk down the red carpet. Alright, let's get started. First, I got to look up the exact look of Malekith, the Black Blade. I want to make sure this looks right. Hey, what's up, Artie? Thanks for stopping in, man. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, what time is it where you are? Actually, you know what? Let me use my iPad for this so I don't have to block my own screen. I don't want to get away from the computer. Trying to find the right cool pose for this character. God, he's such a great design. What's up, Edgar, Mike? How you guys doing? Damn. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you guys said yes to me wanting to hang out. All right, anybody coming in, please give the video a like because it really helps the channel out. And yeah, let's get started on Malekith the Black Blade. Let me just check this reference one more time. That helmet is crazy. In fact, let me localize the helmet so I can really get a look at that. I'm just going to jump in. This is the part where I do this loose spastic sketch to figure out where it's going to go. Trying to give him almost like a Spider-Man pose. Actually, you know what? That might be too much. It's too Spider-Man-like. He doesn't really pose like that. He's not like a spider. He's more like, well, more like a dog, obviously. This is a wolf-ish creature. Maybe I can There you go. Yeah, that looks a little better. If I put that other knee there. He's got that crazy, awesome hair coming out the back of his helmet. Hey, who else is here? What's up, guys? I'm so glad people are showing up. I know I haven't streamed in a while, but if you have time, would you mind talking a bit about layout and paneling the script? Yeah, for what? For which project? Or do you just mean in general? Hey, what's up, Broken Blade? I miss you, man. I don't know if you caught the beginning of the stream, but I was announcing some stuff going on. Namely that tomorrow I need some more upbeat music. This is too mellow. There you go. Tomorrow, Knights of Camelot launches. It's a big one, guys. So, I was putting my enthusiasm out there. I'm a little tired. That's why I'm slurring a little bit. Let's see. Nice. Hey, BB. We're drawing Malekith the Black Blade from the game Elden Ring. I know it's a really light sketch right now and nobody can even see what I'm drawing. Let me raise the contrast. I'm always adjusting the images. That's better. Artie says, hey, by the way, I checked out Solomon Kane, listened to the audiobooks. Pretty cool. Isn't it cool? Isn't Solomon Kane pretty rad? It's like a pretty compelling, weird character. Now, that's cool if you're behind on the stream. I mean, I'm behind on my stream, so. He says, as far as panel arrangement, just in general, like going from writing to visuals, really. So. Oh, I see you said something else. I'm starting layout for my comic this week and would appreciate any tips as a first-time comic illustrator. Awesome. So are you primarily an artist who's writing for the first time, or have you always done both? Before I answer you, I want to know that, because I have a clear advice for you based on my experience. I'm in game development and do illustration for ROGs and RPGs and board games. Got it. No, not ROGs. I was like, oh, ROGs. I totally know what that is. You're not gonna stump me with that one. I'm an experienced professional, and we all have our share of ROGs. So with comics, there's been a lot of back and forth about this over the decades, but essentially what I subscribe to is that some of the most exciting comic books are the ones where the art takes the lead and the actual wording and writing is, for the most part, applied afterwards to support the visuals. So what essentially is I do like the Marvel method, where I do like a general idea of what the story is, and it's different when you're collaborating with another person, but you get the idea. I had a general idea of what the story is, and sometimes I plan some dialogue in advance and some stuff. And but what I try to do, and anybody who's got my comics maybe can tell, is that I essentially, once I get the loose story down, in many cases I'll draw the whole book without a script, and then I'll take a combination of the kind of treatment that I wrote, the loose architecture of the book, and then I'll fill in the dialogue and things like that. And you would think it would make for like really crappy, like kind of forced writing, but some of my best stuff, I know you can't really praise your own work, but the things that I've done that I'm the happiest with are often the ones where I'm kind of writing and drawing in tandem. And even if I do, because when I was working with a publisher, they were like, you can't, they're like, we need a script ahead of time, we need to approve it, not that they were going to like change that many things, they just want to see it, and so when I was doing that, I was like, I really just like drawing and then writing afterwards. I love to write, but so what happened then was I started this method, which also kind of works for me, and I like it, and I could recommend it, is treating the drawing as a second draft. If you have to write a script ahead of time, or if you feel like you need to, if that's your method, think of it as because you're the artist and the writer. You're doing two jobs, and sometimes those jobs contradict. Sometimes the artist has a better idea for how something should look than the writer. In fact, that's often the case. And oftentimes the writer has a better sense of story beats as far as like general narrative than the artist, even though the artist might have a better sense of how to do that visually. So those two aspects of you are going to collaborate, and that means when you do your drawing based on the script, that's your second draft. So what will happen was, when I write, one of the reasons I started doing the Marvel method in that way is because when I write, I tend to write fat. I do like big fat scripts that are like novels, because I love words, and I love poetry and like lots of lyrical language, and that's why my comics are a little bit a little overwrought. Some might say. I like my dialogue and my I hope it's entertaining, even though it has all that, or even maybe because of that. But so when that happens, when I'm drawing afterwards, I'm basically doing another draft, and I'm starting to cut the fat, because artist Ryan doesn't want to have 15 pages of dialogue. He wants to get it to 6, for example. Or even when artist Ryan is drawing an action sequence, he doesn't like that the writer Ryan wrote, this intensely elaborate action sequence with a billion moving parts and crazy things happening. Artist Ryan wants to simplify that because he would like to see his wife at some point today. And so artist Ryan will trim that, and it's a pretty happy partnership because artist Ryan kind of gets the final word. So yeah, as far as panels and layout, I don't write that stuff into the script at all. Like I don't think about it. I do think about it, but it's in the drawing phase, and when I think about it, it's like I'm trying to keep it to either I'm going to do just a few panels and have big elaborate images to slow the vision down. So that's okay. This is a really good point of contact for you. When you are drawing panels, the more panels you have, the faster the eye moves through the panels. So it's like if you're directing a movie and you do that, it's like quick cuts, quick edits. It's going to make the person move through the book faster. When you have fewer panels that are bigger images with more detail filling these large spaces, that slows the eye down. So it depends on the pacing you want. If you want something that feels fast, do a lot of smaller panels, and and you'll feel the difference when you look at it. Edgar says, "Would you rather have dinner with artist Ryan or writer Ryan?" Well, they're both insufferable. That's a great question. They're both broke-ass creatives. Neither one of them's going to pay for dinner, so... No matter which of them come to dinner, I'm the one paying. Let's put it that way. No, jokes aside, I don't know. That's a really funny question, though. Writer Ryan is very, passionate about his ideological viewpoints and his religion and his ethics and his concepts of God and reality and morality and stuff. And Ryan, who draws, is like, yeah, that's cool, but have you seen the art book for Star Wars, the original trilogy? That shit's pretty cool. He's probably, neither one of them is very fun to talk to if you're not interested in anything creative. They're both going to say jokes that make you uncomfortable. Mike, hit me with more questions. I want to make sure I answered your question to your satisfaction. Yeah. I think. Well, writer Ryan is the one you've mostly spoken to, BB. He's the one who's called you on the phone to ask how you were doing and to talk to you about life and faith and everything. Artist Ryan was just texting on the toilet, probably. Edgar says, I've been hanging with two of my friends and I've been hanging with two of my friends the most, one slightly older and one slightly younger, and it's literally just like that. Mike says, no, that's perfect. I spoke to Gross Girl earlier today on a call. Oh, yeah? What did she say? Because she's also got some great input. She always manages to look at something from like 20 degrees to the left of how I see it, where we overlap on things a lot, but then she'll just say something, and I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. Speak of the devil, there she is. There's that gross-ass face. Drowned Pirate, that's the one she's using. I'm excited to ink this one. I really am. Hey, there she is. Oh, I missed all you faces. I missed all these profile names. So guys, I want to tell you what's been going on now that I got... Oh, let me read this. I think I'm the same way in regards to making comics, Ryan. My Marvel style script has basically become a novel, but when I'm drawing, I find myself changing things on the fly. Yeah. And so a big part of the success of Marvel in the early days of Marvel was that they let the artist lead the story. The art was the attraction because people had, if you hadn't seen comic art and you're seeing all this fun line art and color and it's popping off the page, it's like comic art, it's like pop music. It's like designed to hit the pleasure center of your brain right away. It's not really as intellectual. And I think I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it being a different type of art form. Well, actually, no, I could argue that it's just as intellectual. I take that back. Yeah, take your time, Gigi. Yeah, so I would say... yeah, and sorry, I want to continue what I was saying. That was one of the things that made Marvel so successful in the early days, is that they were letting the artists lead the story, and the writers were then supplementing the art with some nice, clear storytelling that was meant to just like hone it and add detail and kind of make it more solid and concrete. And sometimes they'd make edits and things like that, but generally the artists were leading it. So I think it's really effective. I think it's really effective. I love it. That's the way I work. I don't like, now that I'm doing this stuff without a publisher and I have my own print label and I'm doing this full time, my own stuff, like I like just drawing. I like having my script, and then when I draw, I change a lot of things. And I have a collaborator who I sometimes work with on the scripts, and he's like, once the script is in my hands, he's like, when you draw it, he's like, you do what you want, you know? Later, Artie, get some sleep, brother. Let me just focus on how I'm going to ink this for a minute. Bear with me, everybody. You know what? I got to change out the ink on this. Right as I'm getting started, this one's like dying. You guys ready to watch a live re-inking? A live Pentel ink exchange. This guy. Boom. Takes a minute for the ink to come down sometimes. There you go. So tomorrow, the new Kickstarter launches for Knights of Camelot. First thing tomorrow morning. Anybody watching who hasn't clicked notify, please do, so you can get it while it's hot. This is the first time though that I've done a Kickstarter so far where I'm like not nervous. I was nervous for the first two, and now I'm like feeling pretty confident. I know it's not going to be huge. I'm not going to make like $1 billion, but I was nervous about making goals and stuff, and whether or not I was going to humiliate myself with those other ones. And now I'm like, yeah, it's going to be good. It'll be fun. Some of it is that lately I got so many irons in the fire, so many things that are coming out. I can't even talk. I still can't tell you what the project is that I got tapped to do. That's like going to be probably the biggest thing in my career so far. I wish I could tell you guys. It's going to be life changing. I can't wait for that to be out. Working on that at the same time, so I'm a little burnt out as usual, but it's worth it because a lot of good stuff is on the way, And I even debated halting, like waiting to launch Knights of Camelot until this other book was out, because it was going to bring in a whole new fan base of people who've never heard of me. Because the people that are hiring me to do it are way more famous on the internet, at least, than I am. Like almost nobody, a very small fan base I have, and these guys have like a much bigger fan base. So I was like, I should wait to launch it with this new, some eyes on me. But then I was like, I'm going to launch more books, it's a first campaign. It's a first campaign for this new book, so. My voice is quieter than the music, then the music must suffer. Music, be gone. Is that better? How is that for general volume? Should I just talk louder? I think I mumble a bit. Is that better? Is that better? No, is that better, guys? I think a lot of the YouTube stuff I watch, they say you should actually talk louder than you normally would to make it come across. So I have to project. Did you guys just not hear anything I said as a result? Was I just talking to myself? Because I already do that off stream. I don't need to do that on stream as well. This guy's helmet design is like absolutely freaking nuts. It's like almost impossible to really capture it. But let me see. It's good to see Artie, man. I miss his memes. But now I figured out how to stream on YouTube and on Whatnot and go back and forth. So this is for somebody who tapped me on Whatnot for a commission. It's a pretty cool site. It's been working out so far. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell Gigi all about that. Mike, tell us about your comic book, your graphic novel series. Tell us. And if you don't mind, I'd like to make some recommendations. BRB checking the food. Thanks for the tips, Ryan. GunGun1999 says, what's your take on using AI generated art for references, or pretty much just draw on top of that if it's a no-brainer? I think you're trolling. Troll! Hey, what's up, Tez? Yeah, I wouldn't draw on top of any, because I mean, I don't know if this person's trolling. I don't know if I'd answer. I don't know if I would answer genuinely. I honestly thought my Gun was messing with us. Maybe he's not. Gun Gun says, it's sad to see some of my Illustrator fellows using this method, like generating AI art, draw on top of that just like that, and post it for sale. Usually we draw for a t-shirt or... Yeah. Oh, thanks, Johnny. Johnny says, love me some ink drawings. Ryan's inks are very clean and easy to read. Thanks, man. I'm glad it's not overly... the image is not as sharp as I'd like it to be in a live stream. I'm wondering if that's just me. Yeah, no, I mean, ink is kind of where I live, but we're doing markers over this afterwards. I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, in general, tracing is like, I mean, listen, we've all done it. I've done it to when I was on a deadline, I've traced a photo, you know, when I was doing storyboards, things like that. It's not the end of the world. But if you're doing it all the time and it's your career, it's just like, why would you even want to do that? I mean, I guess for the money, but like, it's so much more fun to draw. Like, don't you want to enjoy your job? I know it's easy for me to say that, I guess. You'd be surprised how far people will go to get something from an artist that they just knowing that you didn't trace it and that it's not AI. People will like, they will give you more of themselves sometimes. They just. Let me turn the brightness up. It looks like I'm doing a seance. There you go. I'm not doing a seance. I promise, guys. You're not involved in anything like that. So, Gun, when you were asking about this stuff, or were you like testing us? You were like, oh, it's a no-brainer, right? And then everybody's like, no, and you're like, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think it's better to draw and have it be really flawed than to use AI and have it look exactly like everything else. You know, I don't know. There's also, it's based on this, and I'm not the first person to say this, and I don't claim to be, but the problem is that there's this idea that, you know, art is about the making of the thing. So. I do. I agree with Gigi. I encourage bad drawings. It's the same thing with writing. You got to write. There's a whole thing in writing about how you have to write a bunch of awful scripts to get to a good one. So jump in and try to write an awful script, you know? I cut my finger down to the bone today while cleaning some broken glass. Johnny, why is it every time you join my streams, you make me worry about you? What's going on with you, Johnny? How bad is it? Are you typing with bloody fingers right now? Are you in the waiting room of urgent care? Do you even have urgent care in Arkansas? Or are they gonna just put you down? Oh, Gun, Kim Jong-gi is incredible. I have his work open on my stuff right now. I just like always have his work open where I can look at on a tab or something. Yeah, I mean, Gigi's right. Style is basically, failing to do perfect realism. We all fail in different ways, and that's what makes style. So, Johnny, when you cut your finger open, did Red Bull come out? Please hold, everybody. Okay, invite was sent. Dude. You should have the invite, Gigi. I'm really happy to be back here streaming. It's really nice to see everybody again. I'm getting a little emotional. I got very attached to these streams, and not being able to do it for like a month or two was really bad. I was only doing little bits here and there. I don't know if I've heard that about how you have to draw 10 hours a day. I don't really know. For me, I kind of draw many hours a day anyways for my job, so I wouldn't even know anymore. Because that's what pays for my chicken. Oh, sorry, I didn't admit you. My goodness. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, sorry, how long were you waiting?
I don't know, like 2 minutes.
Oh my god.
Like tops. Like really not that long. How are you? How's life?
I'm good, man. Oh, baby, there's been a lot going on.
Yeah, I we talked a little bit, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's been busy, huh? That's good.
Yeah, so anybody watching, Maya and I have talked on the phone about this, so she kind of knows the deal of the thing, the big fat fancy project I'm working on that I can't talk
Just a little
about.
bit. Just a
Little bit,
touch of it.
little bit, take a little nibble.
Maybe.
And so she's asking an informed question. So yeah, but how are you? How's everything going over there?
Pretty good. I feel like it's taking me forever to get back on track after having been in California for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
But we just went up to, or I guess laterally down, whatever. We went to West Virginia to visit some family for the weekend, and we just got back like yesterday, and it's a 4.5 hour drive. But good, doing good. I got to hold a baby goat. That
How
was cool.
how cool is that?
Yeah, it was great. Her name is Nugget, and it's not that I got to hold her because she's actually kind of big. It's that I had to run in and grab her because while Will's stepmom was trying to feed the horse, the goat snuck in and kept going behind the horse, which is not a place you want to be when you're small and kickable. So
Yeah.
I ran in after it. I don't know anything about goats. I don't know anything about animals. I just kind of did it.
Well, is that this is like you getting used to country living, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've got that streak in me. I've got that country dog in me. But I mean, I've been living in Los Angeles for so long. I rarely ever got a chance to like let it blossom.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's been
I
nice.
this earlier this summer. No, actually, it wasn't. It was probably like late spring. I participated in the sheep shearing of a friend's farm.
Oh, that's fun.
So, which basically means like they were like, "Oh, it'll be fun." Then I showed up and it was basically like I was the only one of the only men there, and they were like, "We need you to like hold the sheep so we can shear them."
Nice.
And my goodness, it was like 7 hours, and I think I helped shear like 100 sheep, and I'm just like, and I had
Wow.
to learn how to like you have a particular way that you have to wrestle them to the ground, kind of like,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're surprisingly strong little animals. Let me tell you.
No, that kind of makes sense. Like, I mean, because I mean, all they do is hold up their own weight for a long time and then
Yeah.
run in fear. So like their cardio is all set. They're ready.
And they were telling me like really be careful because sometimes if they get scared they'll kick, and
Hmm.
you know you have balls from what we know, allegedly. But yeah, so I was like the whole time I was like, oh man, if one of these things kicks me in the nuts and makes me infertile, that would be the perfect day. Um, but yeah,
Oh
it
man.
was cool. It was cool. But I also got to hold a little cute baby lamb. That's what made me think of it.
Oh, awesome. Did you get to keep any of the wool, or is that like nasty?
Actually, yeah. And Malka uses it in her gardening because a lot of gardeners they use wool over the soil to soak in the water like sponges, so that it like disperses the water slowly, and it like
Oh,
and it'll shield it from ticks and other insects that are harmful. It's really cool.
what? Okay, I gotta look into that.
So yeah, yeah.
I just
Go ahead.
I just had to pull out like all of my Brussels sprouts because while I was gone in California, they got like completely overburdened with pests, and it was just they weren't producing anything, so it was just you know
Yeah,
not worth it. So like yeah,
sure.
any tricks like that are definitely on the
She's
table.
been doing it this year for the first time, and it's like the healthiest garden she's ever had. Like it's like
That's insane.
everything is like doing really beautifully well, and it's pretty cool.
I'll have to try it. You should send pictures. I would love to see her garden.
Yeah. Oh man, she would love to show all that off.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
so proud of it. She's like every day, every morning, she's out there working on it before she goes to her job.
Oh man, I should have gone today, but I looked at the weather and saw like it's supposed to thunderstorm later. So I was like, yeah, it'll water itself. It's fine. But now I'm like looking outside and it's not raining. I'm like, it's dark now.
Uh,
I'm sad.
well,
Should have gone.
don't you hate that too? Because then you're like, am I killing my garden by not watering it?
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, terrible. Nerve wracking.
Because I
For
don't.
something that's supposed to be relaxing, it's super nerve wracking.
Well, yeah, because you're responsible for life of some kind. Um, and it's funny because, like, when it's raining, or sorry, when it's really, really hot out, and Malka, she doesn't have time to water it before work. She's like, could you please water the garden or everything will die? It's like, okay, I don't want to be the reason that you don't have tomatoes for 2 months and you're pissed at me. So
That's fair. So in the chat, Gun Gun is asking if there's. Oh, I'm sorry, not Gun Gun. Trainado is asking if there are any really good books on fundamentals for like perspectives and perfective. Okay. Oh, I'm assuming that's a typo for etc. And I just want to answer Trainado really quick.
do it.
I don't know about books on. Oh wait, I do. Oh my god. Okay, Framed Ink has is mostly a storyboarding book. Framed Ink is great, but the same author, Marcus Mestra. I'm totally butchering it. Has another book. Let me look it up here. Yes. He's got Framed Perspective, Framed Environment Design. Just any of the Framed series is really good. Framed Ink specifically is kind of considered to be sort of an informational Bible for animators and illustrators and comic book artists for just sort of composition and drawing and frames and things. Framed Perspective is exactly what it sounds like. I would recommend it. But I'm going to link into the chat, and this is for everybody, a really nice tool that somebody has kindly made online. That's just a editable perspective grid. I use it a lot. I recommend it. It's fun to toy around with. So that's just my 2 cents.
I'm very glad she answered that question because I don't really have an answer for it. I don't really know how I learned perspective. I just kind of, I looked at how to draw the Marvel way, which is like what I always recommend to people, but most of it I just kind of like watched other artists do it and then just imitated it.
Oh yeah, no, full disclosure, I'm terrible at reading art books. I know the framed books are really, really good because people who I trust use them and do really good work and highly recommend them. I own Framed Ink. I've skimmed through a Framed Ink. I'm very glad to have Framed Ink. I don't read art books. I just look at I can't read your synopsis on your philosophy. I need to either hear it or I need to look at the drawings that you do. And I usually just do that. I just look at stuff. I'm a voyeur.
She likes to... What Gigi does is she lights a cigarette and she sits in a dark corner of her room and she watches you draw perspective.
Let me look.
She's like Tony Soprano with a cigar watching those flight attendants in that one episode.
It's okay. Just pretend I'm not here.
What's that from?
Nothing. Oh. I made it up.
There's something where someone says that where they're like probably I think it's that Family Guy episode where it's
I'm sure
Stewie's like he's like I can't sleep. There's a Willem Dafoe under my bed and it's just
yes.
And Willem Dafoe just slides out. He's like Stewie, you asleep yet? He's like no. He's like okay, just pretend I'm not here. And he just slides back under the bed.
I love Willem Dafoe. Oh man. Okay, I have a hot take about Willem Dafoe. Not about him specifically. He just reminded me. So he's just that kind of artist who like when he takes on a role, he just kind of is the role, even though he's also clearly Willem Dafoe. But like you know what I mean? Like he always seems to pick things that are really interesting for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So did you ever watch Death Note or read it?
I saw some of the anime. I never read it. I saw the first few episodes. I thought it was pretty interesting, but I kind of fell off. And then I heard they made a live action movie that everybody hated.
Oh boy, I might be the only person who loves it.
Really? Oh, I'm interested in this perspective now.
Oh, it's terrible. It's awful. Anybody who's a fan of Death Note is going to be very offended because of just how much they spat on it. And Death Note is genuinely a very good series. I don't love it because of some very petty reasons. We spend way too much time with a couple of characters I think are really, really annoying and unnecessary, but that's me. But
you saying about the original or about the movie?
The original. The original. The movie is entirely unnecessary.
Yeah, sure.
but Willem Dafoe as a pick for the Shinigami kind of death demon that hangs out with Light. Ryuk. I was leading up to that. I was just being descriptive.
I thought you were having trouble.
No, he hasn't really finished it, so I'm being nice to the boomer. Okay. Anyway, sorry if you guys. I hope that he's clear behind me, so it's not like me just being randomly rude out of nowhere.
No, it's perfect.
Wilson's in the room with me.
I know it's your fiance, but I keep imagining that it's like a talking owl.
It's my second head.
It's like growing out of your shoulder.
Oh, worse. No, it's growing out of like the top of my hand. The weirdest thing.
That sounds like carbuncle. Sorry, continue what you were saying.
Yeah, but it's just he's just one of those guys where like Ryuk is just kind of the perfect role for Willem Dafoe, and he was the only person you could have picked to do a really good job. I mean, Mark Hamill could have sounded really cool. Anybody with that sort of very specific sort of a voice, but there's just something menacing, that Green Goblin type of thing that he does. It was just really, really good. I don't know. I just felt like talking up Willem Dafoe real quick for something that nobody likes.
No, I think he's really great. I think in recent years he's been. It's like you could see him every time he almost gets typecast, he'll just like do a left turn and do something crazy and cool, and like when he was getting a lot of roles as villains, he was like, "Oh yeah, watch me star in The Lighthouse." Now I'm a now I'm a weirdo in a different way, or he'll he's like, "Oh, and now I'm a shaman in the North." Have you seen The Northman?
I did. I loved it. I wish that other people wanted to finish it.
What? I didn't catch any of that.
Do you want to finish The Northman?
Oh, yes, I do want to finish it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right, cool. I don't have to be jilted anymore. Anyway.
Just remember, guys, that is her second head growing out of her shoulder.
Second head. Yep. His name is Wilson.
The Northman is really. I really enjoyed it when I saw it in theaters. So what do you think is the better one of his movies? Do you think it's that, or do you think it's Nosferatu? As much production and everything that it got, and a lot of well-deserved love, I don't think Nosferatu is his best movie. I think it's still The Witch. Sure.
I mean, I loved The Witch.
Really? Over The Lighthouse?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I like The Witch more than The Lighthouse, but not by that much.
Huh.
Yeah, I love The Lighthouse. I can watch The Witch kind of anytime. But that's the feeling I get with it. Like, if somebody just has it on and it's in the middle of the movie, I'll sit down. I'll enjoy it. Mm-hmm. The Lighthouse, I think I need to be in a particular sort of a mood. And that's literally the only reason why I would say I prefer The Witch.
I've never seen The Lighthouse. That's the only one of his movies, I think, that I haven't seen.
You were just talking it up. What are you talking about?
No. We mean the one I said was great?
Yeah.
Oh, some of The Northman.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
that would have been really funny.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Okay, so, all right. So you've not seen The Lighthouse?
No, it's the only one I haven't seen.
Okay. I think you should remedy that as soon as possible, especially since Werewolf's coming out soon.
Yeah. I only saw the one Werewolf trailer. Sorry, let me address the chat. They're asking about my Discord.
Aha.
How do I invite, copy link? Oh, I'm doing it. Look at my boomer ass. Okay. Boom.
Is your and like obviously you can make your own choices. It's all your stuff. But is your Discord a Patreon exclusive thing?
Not at the moment. The Patreon, it's like I've had the same small group of people for a long time, so I stopped really promoting it because I don't even know what I would offer that would be exclusive to the Patreon. It's like maybe certain process videos, but I'm putting that on YouTube anyway. So the Patreon is really for people who like have $5 to spare and they just want to help me, make my comics a little faster by taking less freelance gigs. But I every time I think of something I would offer exclusive to the Patreon, it's just more work that takes me away from the things that I really want to do, and which is the whole point of the Patreon. So I have to work something out there, but also like the people who support me on there, like they're not rich. They shouldn't have to give me money. They're already buying my comics. Like,
I don't know.
you know,
Johnny just ripped his own finger off a little bit ago and has all 5 again. Maybe he's rich.
well, Johnny, I'm pretty
Down to the bone, man.
I'm pretty sure Johnny is like not entirely human. You ever get that
Johnny
sense?
might be a warlock. Johnny might like genuinely be a warlock.
You ever talk to Johnny? Do you get that feeling like he might be a reptile of some kind?
You know what? That's what I'm saying. It's that warlock like gaze that he gives you. Like
Yeah.
he just doesn't blink. Johnny doesn't blink, guys.
Yeah, Johnny doesn't blink. It's actually going to be the name of my new album. No, Johnny's like, he's handsome in a kind of in a kind of mysterious way. He's like a high priest out of Robert E. Howard. Also, have you ever noticed sometimes when you talk to Johnny, he'll just drop on the floor and slither away like he has no bones?
Well, no, because you ever just look at his eyes for a little bit too long and then you blink and you're in bed and you're like, what happened?
Yeah, you lose time.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. I know that I've spoken and seen and been around in my dreams and in real life, but I can't conjure what Johnny looks like, and I think maybe I'm haunted. I'm sorry, guys, I'm haunted.
Oh, have you ever heard of the phenomenon of have you seen this man?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to tell the audience or should I?
You should, because I think you'll know more. I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar. Also, love you, Johnny. We're just bullying you.
Johnny, I also love you, but I'm not sure it's my choice because, as we've established, it could be something you're doing to us.
Supernatural.
Yeah. And if you want to be loved more, stop slithering on the ground. It spooks people a little bit.
You like it.
It's kind of sexy. All right. So the have you seen this man? So
Yeah.
There was a study. I think it was in the 70s. And it was like this drawing of this kind of eerie looking guy. It wasn't anything particular about him. It was just like something. He was like a slightly balding man with like a unibrow. He kind of had the look of like the BTK killer, like someone who's so banal it's almost kind of offsetting because you're like, there's something. He's so boring that he must be creepy. And it was just a drawing they had, almost like a police sketch. They were putting it up everywhere, and they were saying, "Have you seen this man?" And underneath it said. It was explaining that the local authorities are like pointing out that this was somewhere in America. This was happening in the 70s. And they said a lot of people are having dreams where they're seeing this guy and he's showing up in their dreams. And it's creeping people out because everybody's reporting the same person.
Oh, is that what that Nicolas Cage movie is kind of based on?
Yeah, a little bit. But the real case is a little bit, I found the real case more interesting because the movie is like, really straight up science fiction, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But the movie
It's a
also,
good movie.
I didn't really care. Afterwards, I'll tell you why I didn't like it. But
Okay, all right.
So the people start reporting that there's like more and more people are calling in, and they're like, all these people are having nightmares about this guy. He's showing up, this weird looking dude. Sometimes he kills them, whatever. What they eventually reveal is that the original sign that says, "Have you seen this man?" Nobody had seen him. It was actually a psychological study to see if they could induce that in people.
Oh,
and it worked.
That does sound like the 70s, doesn't it?
Yes. And so essentially they were able to like create a mass delusion where everybody was having dreams about this person.
That's interesting.
Not everybody, but like, a slightly higher number. I don't want to exaggerate. It was like a slightly higher number of people than you would think were influenced by it.
So I think the big question here is this a study done by some college, or is this like a we're being full disclosure CIA thing?
I would imagine a college, right?
I don't know. Yeah, sounds like it could be either. It's got a little bit of that MK Ultra twinge.
Yeah, MK. Well, we've learned as a society, MK Ultra is totally a real thing that they do. Yeah.
It's bonkers, and that's just what they're willing to say.
Yeah,
tinfoil hat.
It's true.
Tinfoil hat.
Oh, I am full on conspiracy theory, like satanic government. I'm like the government's run by crazy people, or not all of them, but maybe there's some kind of internal war. But like, yeah, there's a ton of stuff where you're like, yeah,
Bohemian Grove. I see. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know how anybody can look at the Bohemian Grove footage from the 90s and not be like, there's some creepy guys in charge.
Yeah. I go back and forth, But ultimately, I mostly think that it's a lot of a sham, and definitely there's some weirdos who are just playing a game that we don't know the rules to. I'll leave it at that for now because otherwise we'll get into conspiracy theories for the entire conversation, and it looks like there's some questions in the chat.
Oh, okay. Do you want to? Are they for you or for me? What?
I don't know. I just saw question marks. Gun's asking. Oh, I'm sorry. Gun's asking Mike. My bad. Also, hi, Mike. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, that is me on the mic. Thank you, Edgar. Don't you feel burnout like doing art for a job and a hobby at the same time? I believe that's a question for Mike, but I gotta answer that anyway. And I'm sure that Ryan, you'll have an answer for this too. Yes. Yes. But also, it hurts so good sometimes. Just gotta let it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm burnt out mostly because of the stress.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of financial stress. Even like doing this full time and being like somewhat successful, where you're like able to pay your bills, it's still really stressful because you're like, I have to earn more. I have to do better than this. I can't just stay here. I'm 40. I just turned 40 a couple of months ago. It's like I need to be, I need to break 6 figures. I need to be able to like get a house. I want to, all the stuff that's unrealistic in today's economy. But like, the burnout doesn't come from drawing because I like doing it. The burnout comes from the constant pressure of everything in life.
Yeah.
The fact that I draw for a living is almost incidental.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. That said, though, like having hobbies that aren't art also help that a lot. I've been really bad at keeping up with that myself, but it's a big way to help keep that going. Like, read some books, learn to skateboard, pick up an instrument, eat a brick. Just do something else sometimes.
Yeah, I would like to add that eating a brick is a really good way to distract yourself from financial stress.
Yep, and you can make new friends at the dental office.
It's true. It's true. And when you curse, instead of people telling you how rude it is, nobody can tell because, with no teeth, you just sound like Daffy Duck.
The musical instrument is you with all the whistling from the missing teeth. There's a joke in there somewhere.
So my eccentric neighbor is missing.
Oh no!
He's missing.
I forgave you, Will.
He's missing a lot of his front teeth, and we always wondered why. Like we were like, oh, maybe he used to be a drug addict or something, and he wasn't. He's never done that stuff. The reason he's missing his front teeth, and this is a guy with like special needs, is because years ago, or maybe a year, I don't know, sometime before we met him, he saw a woman getting abducted and he tried and he like pulled her away from the guy. He helped her. He like helped her get away from this guy who was trying to drag her into a car. And then the guy punched my neighbor in the face really hard and it like knocked a bunch of his teeth out.
Oh my God.
And he was like really proud of it because he's like, well, I helped her. She got away. And we were like, can't you get your teeth replaced? Like insurance should cover that. Like and he's like, oh, what do I need it for?
Oh man. Insurance might decide it's cosmetic. That's horrid.
So shitty, yeah.
I mean, good for him, but also terrible that happened. And wow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And it's like he's one of those guys where like he's like I don't know exactly what his special need is. He's like he's a little off. Like he always claims that he's a fascinating, funny, weird guy. But he has like assisted living and stuff like that. So. I believe his story. Like, I don't think he would lie about this because he just seems really honest. At least that he wouldn't say anything he didn't believe was true. Like, he came over for dinner. We had him over for a barbecue in our yard, and he was telling us about how he met an alien on the beach once, like this woman who was an alien from another planet. And then after he met her, he can he like has this brain full of definitions of words that have never been heard before, and then he tried to submit them to the Oxford Dictionary. Or the Webster, whichever. And he has a whole list of words that have like interstellar terminology for how planets work, and he claims it's because aliens downloaded into his brain. He's a really fun guy to talk to.
Whoa. Yeah. No, honest. Okay, I come across dudes like that every so often, and it's always, I don't want to say jarring, but in my case it is. I think I've told you a couple of these stories already where, like, I used to have a job delivering weed, and I had a regular that I would go to who was schizophrenic, and like he was a nice guy, but he was maybe a bit too forward with his trying to be social in a way that made me at the time very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Upon reflection and maturity, I feel maybe I was a little bit judgmental, but it was so.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. A Broken Blade says, please bring him on stream.
Yeah, no, do it.
Sorry, go on.
He sounds fascinating. No, but this guy, I had a really crummy car, and so the kind of top the little light that you press when you want a little bit of light in the front of the car, on the ceiling. If I have it on, it would flicker. And one day he's like leaning into the passenger side window to get his order and to give me money, and you know, I'm getting him his stuff and I have the light on, and he looks at it, it's like, oh, you're a Sly. And I was like, I'm a what? Yeah, no, it's like a street light interference. Yeah, no, it just means that you're like, there's you know, there's supernatural energy coming through, like ghosts. He started going on this rant about how the fact that the electricity in my car had some kind of interference or faulty wiring because it was a car from 2007. That it was showing that there was some form of force that followed me around, because he could also point down the road where I came from. Some neighbor had their garage door open, and that light was flickering too. And he's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, you're a Sly. You should look it up. And he started going into something about like portals and energy fields and something like that. I was like, oh, I cannot follow what you're saying. I'm sorry. I can't follow that. It was really interesting, but it was also like, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for the tip.
I just like, I don't know. I used to be like, I mean, I'm fairly open to stories about phenomenon, but I used to be like really open-minded, and as I'm getting older, I'm like, it's got to be a coincidence that so many people who tell me these things are either on drugs or between drugs.
Between drugs. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's at the same time though, I'll meet people who are if they're not neurotypical, then they're just not schizophrenic. Who will have, I mean, we've talked about like ghost stuff. Like, you turned me on to what's his face, Ghost to Ghost, right? For the Halloween thing.
The great Art Bell.
Art Bell, thank you. I keep wanting to say Art Brut, and that's not him. That's a musician. But there's a friend of my mom's, is a really super lovely couple, like just like the nicest guys you've ever met. Like they're the type of dudes who'd like you hug them and they hug you like they've known you since you were a kid. Like they're just super sweet.
That's a nice trait.
And one of them has had supernatural experiences his whole life. He was telling me at lunch one time, a couple weeks ago when I was up in LA, that he used to see people in his home, and he thinks that somebody else in his family may also have the same gift, and is always very sensitive to things. And he knows that his house is haunted because somebody keeps trying to push him down the stairs, and just stuff like really like out there ghost stuff, right? Very typical out there ghost stuff.
Don't like that at all.
But his husband's never ever experienced any of it, and they live in the same home. But my mom's partner has experienced things in their home, but my mom hasn't. It's weird. Like, I think some people just can't, even if they're open to it, like logically or spiritually. Like, there's a degree of something is different between these two groups of people, and I don't have an answer as to what that is or why I think it is the way it is, but it is interesting and notable.
Well, all right. First thing, let me turn on. I want to talk about this because I have some interesting things that some interesting things to offer. Let me just hold on. I'm going to just mute my camera so that nobody can see me walk around the room in my underwear to turn the lamp on. Please hold.
Bye, Mike. Thanks for being here, Mike. I'll talk to you later, bro. Bye. Okay. Mike left. While he's doing that, let's see here. Have you tried make anything else art related or to take your skill to the next level, like making an animation or something Western 2D or anime? Gum Gum, I'm assuming that you're asking somebody else in the chat. I'm going to answer that anyway. If you have the drive to just give something a try, like if you feel motivated to try something like that,
Okay,
I think you should. I think you should. Like if you're into doodling and drawing and you just want to try animating, give it a go. See if you like it. You don't have to be good at drawing to be good at animating.
It's true.
But you will learn a lot because you're going to be drawing a lot. Same with anything else. It's just fun to do. Anyway, sorry, go on. Welcome back.
Wow, that was so seamless. How you managed to answer whatever question that was and be ready for me. That was you should host a TV show where you help people organize their own YouTube channels.
Oh God, I can't even organize mine. I've been like, the only reason why I can't use Gross Girl is because it's not verified, and the only way to verify it is to either give YouTube my personal information or to post consistently for 2 months. And I keep saying I'll post consistently for 2 months, and then proceed not to post because live streaming doesn't apparently count.
Really? That's why. Oh, so I'm not verified by that standard, then, right?
No, you are.
Wait, how the hell am I verified?
Because for a short time you were posting consistently for 2 months.
There was I was posting consistently for like 6 months, and I still didn't get monetized.
Well, that's monetization. That's different.
Okay.
Verification is just you're not a bot.
So they don't know that you're a bot or not?
I think so. Like, cause I made a new account. I've had Drowned Pirate since I was like 16 or more, like longer. I used to have the nickname switched over to Gross Girl, but at some point YouTube stopped supporting that or just didn't do it anymore or something. So I made a new account. I was like, it's not me anyway. I'm Gross Girl. Who's Drowned Pirate? I'm not Drowned Pirate. And it backfired. And now I have to like commit. And I keep trying to sit down to finish making my VTuber model, and I just keep having reasons not to do it. I think I've got time this week though, which is really exciting. So I want to get that done.
Yeah, because you had something. I guess it wasn't a VTuber thing. It was something else. I don't remember.
It was a tune. It was a PNG thing. It was like a GIF. And I wasn't like thrilled with it. I have a new little guy, and she's the best, and I love her. She's great. She's a freaky little gob. I'll post her in the Discord. You'll see it.
So you'd rather do, you don't want your face on screen.
You know, I just
There's no judgment. I'm just curious.
No, yeah, I just with where things have been going, with AI and parasocial relationship stuff, it just I know that like as a small fry, it means basically nothing, but you never know when things will blow up, and I'm not comfortable putting my face out there anymore. Like I actually told my family not to post photos of me anymore too. Like not that they really did much. It was just, you know, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it anymore. And it's not like a physical insecurity. Like I'm pretty comfortable with the way that I look. I'm not happy with my weight, but that's like a health thing more for me than anything. But like, I just don't want my face out there anymore. I can't remove all the photos that I have online. There's definitely quite a few floating around, but I just sort of like my anonymity a little bit, and it just gives me a small degree of fake privacy. I know it's not real, but
yeah. Well, I have absolutely destroyed any chance of anonymity now. I respect. Oh, I forgot to put my camera back on. I respect that you are doing that, because I don't know if I would do things differently, but man, so I had a session where I was just curious about Grok and like how it works, and I had never used it, and I only recently started using Twitter, by the way. If anybody's curious, I actually have a Twitter account now.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
I'll get you the link.
Well, I basically had to get it for this job that I'm doing, the big one.
Makes sense.
They were like, you need to have a Twitter account. We need to be able to, tag you and stuff, and you need to be posting on there, because Twitter is like where a lot of the stuff sells. And I was like, okay. And then ever since I've been on it, I'm just like, every time I open it, it's like arguing. I'm just like, but yeah. So I used the Grok, like, Chat GPT, whatever it's called. And I started asking it, who is Ryan Gutierrez artist? Like, who is he? Like, and I just started asking more and more questions. And it was, not only was it pretty knowledgeable about me, but it was it was answering questions in ways that were like detailed about like my beliefs based on its analysis of my work.
Ew.
It was, I mean, honestly, it's fascinating, but it was giving me like, I was getting goosebumps because I was like, I was like, what are his like beliefs? Like, what are, and it was like, well, you know, no, he doesn't, he specifically seems to avoid politics in all of his streams. You can tell there's a kind of pseudo conservative religious,
Pseudo.
yeah.
I looked at it as pretentious too.
yeah. It's like sticking its pinky out while it answers me.
Yeah.
Based on his comics, he seems to like binary morality and like a lot of like classical heroism, which people tend to associate with more conservative minded types. And so even though he seems to be very particular about making sure everybody and it was going on. And then I started asking more and more questions and just being like, what do you know about Ryan Gutierrez's wife? And it was like, well, we know she's Jewish. And they were like, he talks about her a lot, but she seems to avoid being on screen. And Ryan's kind of the front of that operation as his fan base has been growing, and and it just kept going. And then I started trying to break it. I started to see if I could like mess with it, and I was like, is Ryan Gutierrez cute? And then it started, and then it was like, though he's not known for his looks, he does have a nice smile and he seems to have big strong shoulders. It just goes on and on.
Oh, ass kissing.
And then it was like, we've noticed the metrics that when Ryan Gutierrez smiles at the camera, he gets more likes on his YouTube videos and seems to hold a higher retainer viewership. And then I just stopped because I was getting really scared. But I was like, it started to not be fun.
It's time to start lying online more, dude.
Just like make up rumors about myself, like
yeah, no, that's apparently supposedly that's what Meat Canyon did. He was making a lot of jokes about his age and his content for a long time, to the point where when AI was introduced, it got the wrong information and thinks he's older than he is. Like, it's just time to start lying a whole lot.
That's great.
Start trying to convince Grok that you're like a middle-aged Asian man living in Cambodia who's really good at juggling.
Well, I am.
Oh, okay.
I thought
Wait, for real? That'd be really cool.
We were trying to mislead it, weren't we? I'm confused.
Oh, darn. Okay. And you're really into chandeliers, specifically.
Are you doing this on purpose?
Yes.
Because I fucking love chandeliers.
Made from those really long, twistable balloons.
I thought you were going to say made from human skin.
No, that'd be too close to the truth.
What's the name of that guy who made furniture out of skin?
Not Ed Gein. Was it Ed Gein?
No, I think it was. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, he mostly got that from grave digging.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he didn't commit murder, did he? Because
no, he did.
He did. Oh.
He killed at least 2 people. No, he killed one. I don't know how many people. He allegedly killed his brother, and then, I'm just gonna look it up because I'm.
We should both look it up so we can get put on the same watch list.
Yeah. And Wikipedia gets people on a watch list, right? Let's see. Yeah, no, he definitely killed 1 or 2 women and allegedly killed his brother.
Oh, I see. I don't know why, but I've just misremembered it. I thought that he hadn't killed anybody, but that he was just digging graves, and so that's why he got kind of a light jail sentence, at least the first time around.
Here, aftermath. Here, confirmed crimes. On the morning of November 16th, 1957, I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to keep it pretty tame. 1957, 58-year-old Plainfield hardware store owner Bernice Warden disappeared. The hardware store's truck was seen driving out from the rear of the building around 9:30 a.m. This is ringing a bell. The store saw few customers the entire day. Some area residents believed that it was because of deer hunting season. Warden's son, Deputy Sheriff Frank Warden, how unlucky for Gein, entered the store around 5 p.m. to find the cash register open and bloodstains on the floor. Frank Warden told investigators that on the evening before his mother's disappearance, Gein had been in the store and was expected to return the next morning for a gallon of antifreeze. That evening, Gein was arrested. The sales slip for the antifreeze was the last receipt written by Bernice Warden on the morning that she disappeared. That evening, Gein was arrested at the grocery store. And they discovered her body on Gein's property. I'm not going to describe what it was just because of, it's your art content. We'll have to do like a crazy bad, like true crime thing podcast thing at some point, but I don't want to jump scare people in the chat about this stuff. And then also while they were going through his property, they found everything that he made, which was definitely not from people that had been his victims. It was after the fact. He admitted to stealing from 9 graves.
Champ, my goodness.
He robbed the graves soon after the funerals while the graves were incomplete. Test graves were exhumed because authorities were uncertain as to whether the slight Geen was capable of single-handedly digging up a grave during an evening. They were found as Geen described. As Geen described. So he was not telling the truth. I'm sorry. They found that he was telling the truth. And then this is the part of Geen's story that was used for Silence of the Lambs. Soon after his mother's death, Geen began to create a woman suit so he could become his mother. And the more you learn about Geen and his relationship with his mother and how it actually added to all of his crimes, it's freaky. That makes that sort of psycho movie. You know, it's nasty. It's super nasty. But there's just a thing. There's a thing with serial killers and their mothers.
Well, it's like one of the biggest indicators of a lot of that stuff is that they have a bad relationship with the mother.
Yeah. It's like... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, no, it's I think there's some amount that you can argue the opposite for some of the female serial killers out there, but that doesn't seem to be as much of a factor as it is with men and their mothers.
What do you mean the opposite? What? In what way?
Women with their fathers.
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's not as much of a thing as it is with men and their mothers.
No, I think what I see of women who go crazy and start killing people is that like they have bad experiences with men outside their father.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I've noticed. It's like that one chick she was a prostitute who became a serial killer. And it was like she was an SA victim, and then after that, she just snapped and she just started killing random guys who had nothing to do with it. It was just like,
it's either that or like gain, like trying to get something. Like there was that one woman, I think I'm probably gonna get the state wrong, but I think it was in Florida. She ran a kind of a house for people to rent from and go to who like needed extra care or something, and she basically turned it into a slaughtering house for her to get their stuff, like their
Is that Lizzie Borden?
No, and also no, she's innocent actually.
Really?
Potentially, likely, yeah. There was a working hand on their property, and that was also in the Victorian era, where the woman I'm thinking of, I think it was like in the 90s, 80s maybe. She was an elderly woman who wanted Social Security checks, and so would like cash them and then kill off the person and keep collecting.
Oh yes, I did see a thing about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
do we do this? How do we keep having conversations that end up in this direction?
I don't know, actually. I think I want to say it's you, but it's really me, probably, because I could. But you see, we're not leaving this because I think there was something I was going to talk about before I went to turn on my lights. Was it what was? Oh, it was about why some people experience ghosts and others don't.
Oh yeah.
So
you're probably right, though. It is me.
I mean, really, it's the combination of us because we both have an interest in that stuff, but nobody else wants to discuss this with me. If I bring this stuff up with my wife, she's like, "Please stop. It's near bedtime. I don't want to think about this." I'm like, "Okay," but like, there's this thing in Catholicism of, or maybe Christianity in general. I'd be curious to know if Will is acquainted with this idea. It's Well, you ask him after the stream.
Yeah, I'll ask him.
Like demonosis versus theosis. So the idea is that you as a spiritual creature, you only move in two directions. Mm-hmm. You either move closer to what is good and divine, or you move closer to what is like unclean. And everything you do pushes you in one of those two directions. And this is my vast, horrific oversimplification of an incredibly complex idea. But so the idea is that some people, from what I understand, have a higher sensitivity to what is essentially demonosis, that things that are, because in the Catholic tradition, it is essentially believed that if you encounter what is a ghost, it's either one of two things. It's either actually a demon trying to mess with you. It's like, because the whole idea is that the world is just full of dark entities that are constantly trying to get access to you. Or it's the ghost of a person who lived, and the only reason you're seeing them is because their soul is not at rest, and the reason that like God is allowing you to see the ghost is because you're supposed to pray for that person. The idea being that, because everybody's like always like, well, why does God need you to pray? Can't he just fix it? It's like he can, but the concept is that he delights in seeing people help each other. So he'll expose you to a person in need to like, you know, to get you to like, to ask him to, you know, that kind of thing. And like, so there's this idea that if you see a ghost of somebody you loved, it's like, it's almost never a good thing, because they should be in heaven, right? And it's like, if you encounter that, it's like, the idea is like, that's either that's them saying that they need you to like pray for them to help them move on, or it's not them at all, and it's something else trying to fuck with you, basically.
Ooh, spooky.
And
okay.
so a lot of ghost stuff, because there's so many ghost stories that I've heard where they're like, yeah, well, it was like a little girl, and it's like we saw this little apparition of a little girl, and we didn't want her to like, you know, feel, why banish her? Our kids talked to her, and she would show up in corners of our house and blah blah.
Oh yeah.
And then over time it gets worse and worse, and then it stops looking like a little girl and starts to get tall and dark, and it's like in corners of your house, and then sometimes then it's tugging on your legs while you're asleep, and then it's whispering in your ear, and like all this creepy shit, and it's like. And then every time they call someone to, either it's like a psychic or it's a Catholic priest, they're like, yeah, you should never talk to it because you encouraged it. And now you basically invited it into your home. And it was like lurking, and now you gave it access. And the more you give it access, the bigger and stronger and darker it gets. You know, so that's a really interesting thing that I think has some footing. I mean, I don't know that it's 100%, but like if you buy that ghost exists, then you look at a lot of these stories, and a lot of them are like, they start cute and then they get really creepy, and they never, there's never been a thing where it's like, oh, it's been years and I love this ghost. It's always like, you know.
Okay. You know, honestly, we've never had the conversation about stuff like that in regards specifically to ghosts, but the conversation of what a demon is has definitely been coming up a little bit more often. I'm not going to speak on his like specific opinions, but if you're interested, I could ask if he wants to come over and speak for himself.
What's up?
We're talking about good and evil in a supernatural presentation, and how that kind of pertains towards one's choices in lives and their relationship with things like ghosts.
If he wants to, you should just give him the mic. I would love to talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah, come here. Let me trade him out real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, Wilson is coming to chat. Hang on, I almost doxed him. All right. So, just because like I don't want to put words in his mouth, and you know, I'm not going to be able to do as much of a good description.
No, we're overdue. I've wanted to have him
But
on.
he was curious because he was coming in from a Catholic point of view. I'm gonna get some more water.
Oh, howdy.
Are you a dwarf from
What are we talking? Good and evil? Shit, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Will, please introduce yourself to my audience.
Howdy. My name's Will. I make games. And I don't know. I'm theologically minded, creatively minded, and a really big fan of complimenting myself.
And as we also learned, a little gassy.
I wouldn't say. Sorry. Yeah. No, I've gotten the dwarf comparison before.
Sure.
Which
sure.
Sure, but like the dwarf being a short thing is only a mythological thing. I fit the archetype in every other way.
You don't make stuff with metal.
Don't remind me.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Get off the bench.
Anyway.
So
How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. I'm good. I wanted to hear the chat is reacting to your burps. People are like, "What the fuck was that?" That shook. I actually felt my stomach shake with that last one. Girl Scroll was saying you have some interesting perspective on this.
Yeah, I suppose so. I would say uniquely Christian, but other than that, I mean, like, okay, so I heard something about a supernatural perspective on good and evil, and I don't and have never loved the idea of the supernatural as being literal. I take very much a C.S. Lewis approach to it, which is that if you need something to be unexplainable, there's plenty in the real world for that already. The amount we don't know is so staggering, it's unbelievable. And so how that relates to good and evil to me is that somehow the more we try to boil down good and evil into morally relativistic terms, morally relativistic terms, the more we try to study it, the more we end up repeating the same old patterns, which is that, hey, it turns out that that being a good person, that looking out for others, that maintaining a strong moral compass with a real good and evil, rather than boiling it down to grays and not holding people accountable for their actions. All of this stuff, all the stories just have a tendency to always end the same way. And so what that leads me to believe in terms of the supernatural is that what's supernatural about it? We have this idea of karma. We have this idea of there is a supernatural force that will reach its hand down and manipulate events in order to balance a cosmic scale. But frankly, if you're waiting for that, you're always going to be disappointed. Good and evil, I guess this is how I'd put it, are self-fulfilling prophecies.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like a point would have been a good thing to start on rather than meandering. Also,
no, I get what you're saying. I actually think it. I mean, it does. I think it overlaps heavily with what I think, because there's this great. I'm sure you've heard it as a Christian, because I'm sure everybody's heard this like parable of I think it's a woman passing this wretched, impoverished child in the street, and she starts talking to God, and she says, God, why did you, in all of your wisdom, why did you not help this child? Why didn't you, like she's just going through this list of things. Why didn't you feed this kid? Why did you leave her here? Like, why haven't you sent anybody to, any of your angels to assist her through this horrible, wretched life this kid is leaving? And then God answers and he says, I did, I sent you. and it's like that's kind of, I think if anybody wants to engage in stories of the supernatural and theosis and God and like the really important thing to take away is like you are a player in the game, like you're not a spectator. And I think one of the issues that that I've had with certain like corners of Christianity is that it encourages people to be spectators instead of players, depending on their beliefs.
Oh, certainly. There's a great old quote. I think it was either C.H. Spurgeon or Oswald. No, it wasn't either of them. I've just been reading them a lot. It was just some old thing that I heard that was good deeds are for doing, not for preaching.
Yeah. And I think that there's like a kind of like certain evangelical sects where they're like, just hide in a corner and wait for Jesus to come back, and it's
say evangelical sects, count me in.
For anybody wondering, I mean sect, S-E-C-T, but most people don't even know that's a word anymore. So everybody just thinks
I know, I'm just screwing with it.
No, I know you do. I'm explaining to the audience. It's like, what the hell? They're like Googling evangelical sects and all these weird videos are coming up.
Oh, this is a whole new corner of the internet. Wowza!
I didn't even know this was something I wanted.
I could have gone my whole life without knowing that about myself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, no, I like where your head's at, because I often sometimes think about because I listen to a lot of theological conversation and debates, like there's this great one from these two Catholics talking, and like they were talking about what should be the Catholic orientation toward these things, and they were like, the whole thing is like you don't you would like this actually, Will.
Lay it on me.
It's the view of evil as like we have this mistaken view of evil and good as these two opposing equal forces.
Oh yeah.
When in reality, evil is actually parasitic. It's really interesting. The idea is that like everything is inherently good in creation at its start, and evil is this parasitic thing that latches onto good and corrupts it over time. And the example that someone was using. And then I promise I'll shut up for a second. But
No.
the example someone was using was actually like for like the idea that like, okay, we're going to end World War II. It's like, great. We're going to defeat the Nazis. That this is clearly good, right? We're going to end the carnage and everything. And then it's like, well, how do we end it? And it's like, okay, well, we build a bomb. Right. And then it's like that voice in your head is like, yeah, you know what? If you have to drop the bomb on a civilian population, yeah, you'll kill millions, but you'll save millions more. Right. It's the compromise. And that's how evil, that's what people call the demonic, is the parasitic voice in your ear telling you to just, cut some corners. You do what you have to do for the greater good. And then you just start making more and more compromises until you become the villain, even as you're trying to do the right thing. And it's like, they were like, that's essentially the demonic evil you deal with in the world. You keep waiting for the Lord of the Rings battle at the Black Gates, when in reality that's happening in your own heart every day of your life. And I just thought that was
absolutely. Everybody, we have these fantasies of taking on a great evil, but we have the opportunity to do so every single day.
Yeah.
People have this concept of, well, actually, no. Okay, you're right about that. But I actually want to go back to what you were saying before for just a moment about evil as a parasitic thing, about not being this grand opposite side of a coin, but rather just a blight on something otherwise good.
Yeah,
which I've always appreciated. I think that humanity has an untenable relationship with evil, one that can't be sustained forever, whereas a relationship with good can be. I think that's part of what defines it. Evil has a tendency to eat up its victims, has a tendency to destroy them from within. In fact, I think there's something I've just been mulling over a lot lately. How do I put this? Give me 1 second. Give me a moment's silence.
Sure.
No, I think I'm losing him. No. Hang on. Don't you laugh at me.
I mean,
I'm
it was just
very sensitive.
It was just really good comic timing the way you said that.
Thank you. Okay, I know I do have something interesting, maybe a touch insightful to say. Though it does involve me bigging myself up a little bit, which is that I've got this little game, Deep Night Detective, that I'm going to get back to work on at some point. The first chapter is available on Steam for free. And
yeah, dude, if you want to link that in the chat, please do. Gross Girl,
sure.
Could you link that for us?
Yeah, sure. I'll get back to it someday, but part of it is I've got this villain called the Will-O-Wisp, and this creature, the Will-O-Wisp, is haunting this house, and there's this demonic presence, and you, the main character, are trying to figure out what is going on here. Why did this thing happen? What's haunting this house? Before you meet the Will-O-Wisp, you see this demon summoning that's occurred inside the basement, and it has this big, scary. There, I just linked it. It has this big, scary message with like a body pinned to a wall, blood everywhere, and the detective looks at it and says, I'm sorry to tell you, somebody's playing a prank on you. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And everybody else is like, what? Why? This is clearly a demon summoning. It's like, why? How is this a demon summoning? Well, what is the last thing a demon should ever want to do to a person? The answer is scare them. Why would they? Why? What on earth does a demon, a tempter, somebody who is trying to make your life easier on you, somebody who is trying to lead you into something untenable, want to do the thing that gets people to start praying, which is put a bullet to their head or put a gun to their head?
Yeah.
And that came about in that game because that's something I think about a lot. And it turns out there is an answer to that question.
I was going to say I do have an interesting response to that based on some of the reading I've done, and like, because I'm very.
Oh, by all means.
But do you want to give your answer first? I want to know what you think.
Well, okay. Spoiler, but it's not going to come out for years. It turns out it's just because the relationship with evil is an untenable one. This demon has created has created a pact with the devil that means he's going to pursue evil with a religious fervor for eternity, and that's the price for his immortality. But it's been hundreds of years, and he's getting tired of it because the fact is we've mistaken evil for pleasure. Evil and pleasure are not the same thing at all. Yeah. And when you think I'm just going to do evil things for the rest of my life, you think, oh, I'm just going to go have lots of sex and do lots of drugs. And it's like, married people have sex, and drugs heal people.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, evil is something else entirely. Evil is this untenable relationship with this thing that eats you from the inside. So this demon is doing all this spooky, scary stuff in order to get people to notice him, so that they'll capture him, so he can get captured and essentially put into prison without revealing to hell that he's sick of the whole spiel and he doesn't want to do this anymore.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
How did you come up with is this something you just
I came up with it during my reading of actually a Christian text, The Inescapable Love of God by Thomas Talbot. I'm a Christian universalist, and that is not the same thing as universalist. I'm very staunchly Christian. I'm not like, oh, and I think a little of everything is right. I think if there's, in my personal estimation, if there's another religion that has any seed of truth that really connects to the deeper part of reality, it possibly Buddhism, but no, in terms of the key to reality, in terms of the key to life, Christian all the way.
Yeah.
But Christian universalism is part of a triad of different beliefs, which all pertain to hell. Because there is what I believe to be a mistranslation of hell, of the description of hell, which describes it as being a place where sinners spend the rest of eternity. I don't believe that.
So you see it almost like purgatory, essentially?
I've heard it called purgatorial, though. Purgatory implies a lessening of suffering in hell. I think it's the opposite.
Well, no. So so you might find this really interesting, actually. So the concept of purgatory that I think the Catholic Church teaches,
sure,
is that it's essentially like the process you go through on your way to heaven. That you go through, almost like it's like an uncomfortable feeling between death and heaven, where you're like cleansed, and it's like a cleansing fire. So it's like almost like a suffering, but you're actually really happy because you know that this means that you're going to meet your Creator soon, and you're going to be at peace. But like there's almost like a process, almost like leaving the Earth's atmosphere and like burning up.
Certainly.
But I don't know if I ever believed it, because all the near-death experiences that I hear about are just, people either describe something that resembles hell, or they describe something that deeply resembles like meeting God and like literally talking to Jesus. Not a single one of them that I've ever heard out of these thousands of these near-death experiences that this guy
sounds like purgatory.
Yeah, nothing really sounds like, oh, it's like a middle ground. It's like either you get to be with God because you asked to be with him, or you decided you didn't want to be with him in hell. Because the concept of hell that I understand which is really doesn't necessarily contradict what you're saying.
Sure.
Although I don't know, is like this notion that, because I agree that there's a huge misconception that people who are not Christian, they think that hell, because they always go like, well, if God loves you, why does he send you to hell because you did something wrong? I was like, that's not what hell is.
Yeah, you've mistaken it completely.
Yeah, and I think there's an intentional misinformation out there to. Oh,
of course there is, and I'd say it started with St. Augustine, but that's me. That's a whole other can of worms.
Well, I want to hear about that, because I actually don't know what Augustine teaches about hell. But the idea is that like hell is it's not punishment. It's literally God giving you what you want, because if you don't want to be with him, then that's where he is not. Like that's the notion. It's like, it's not even him. He's not even angry at you. He's just like, okay, if you really in your, this whole life you've lived, you have no desire to be close to me. I respect that. Here, this is where you can go to be away from me. And in hell, everybody's God. Like the idea, everybody has absolute power to just do whatever. And as a result, but the idea is interesting to me is that, going back to, and this links back to what you were talking about with demons, is this idea that demonosis, like you get further towards what is demonic. And in hell, with the absence of God, everything that's good in you comes from God. So with God absent in this place, you become the absolute worst version of whatever you could be. And so as a result, when people talk about like why would the demon want to scare you, right? Like that's what you were asking. And so this guy Dan Schneider, who's a not the Predator,
not the Nickelodeon Dan.
Yeah, sadly this freaking exorcist has the same name as this guy who's the opposite. But
yeah, not the. Oh, you know what? I have a very funny nickname for Dan Schneider that I should not say.
No, we will get instantly struck. But yeah, no. So he was talking, and it was really interesting. He said that the reason that in a lot of these cases, eventually the demon makes itself known and all that stuff is because to continue the illusion that you are something good requires actually a lot of patience.
Ooh,
and
fascinating.
And that's a trait that they literally don't have, because all good traits come from what is good and godly. And because demons are things that have literally exist outside of God's grace, they cannot do things that require virtue. So eventually the bloodlust always shows itself, which is why demonic possession always ends in somebody like shrieking and coughing up, just being like crazy and disgusting, is because the demon could possibly control a person and get what they want forever and ever, but they can't, because their desire to be gross and vile and they can't control it, because they don't have anything that would be necessary to keep that under wraps, which is what like humans have that capability. I want to know, what do you think? Is that interesting to you?
Oh, it's complete. It's fascinating to me. Obviously, I think the concept that I think obviously when one engages with what they consider evil, what they're seeking is pleasure. But what they're not seeking, what they never consider, is to lose the ability to affect good. And good is often pleasure. Good and pleasure. Unfortunately, good, evil, and pleasure are always intermingled. But the idea is that in the pursuit of one, you start to lose capacity for the other. You go one way or the other. You lose capacity for the other, but never completely as a human. I would say that that dying represents losing the capacity to change that. But that's okay. But that's
yeah.
I want to, if you don't mind, I want to finish this Christian Universalist point.
Please, yeah, do.
Okay, so I said a universalist, not in terms of the religion of universalism, but in terms of this triad of different concepts regarding hell. There's the Augustinian concept, which is that, oh, you know what? No, I need to explain one thing first, is that there are three conceptions of, how do I put this? There are three conceptions of assertions in the Bible. And everybody can agree that these assertions exist. They're not pulled out of thin air, but everybody must recognize that all three of them cannot exist. They are mutually exclusive. And those three the foundation of this is that God wills all of his children to be reconciled unto him. The first assertion is God is incapable, or no, God is capable of bringing all his children to him. The second, God wants to bring all his children unto him. And three, that hell is a place that lasts forever and eternity and you can't escape it. These three things can't be true. Either, if God wanted all of his children to be reconciled unto him, then he is either incapable or unwilling. That's it. You can't will something. You can't have a will towards something that you're capable of doing and not do it. That's a simple fact of the matter. The Augustinian perspective is that God is unwilling. That all of the stories of God wanting all of his children to be reconciled unto him is not necessarily true, and that maybe even in the John Edwards sort of way, he takes some sort of pleasure in the destruction of the evil soul.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't like that at all.
No, most people don't, and who can blame them?
But sorry, go on.
Oh, sure. The Arminian concept is one preached by C.S. Lewis, much easier to stomach, but still not what I believe, which is that God is incapable. As C.S. Lewis described it, hell is a place that is locked from the inside, which is what you described, which is that you're getting what you want and you have shuttered yourself away from God. And even if you were to find him, if he were to find you and meet you, you would still refuse him. or the third, that hell just isn't eternal. Oh, my apologies. I finally figured out what I wanted to say before, which was the. Did I just lose it again? No, God in heaven, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Dead air.
I'm just afraid to say anything because I know you're trying to find it.
Purgatory. I think it's fascinating that Catholics constructed purgatory from the ground up, essentially, because they ran into this exact same problem. That hell is often, or the fires of hell, or this concept that punishment and mercy and justice and are all the same thing, just keeps showing up, in that purgatory would just naturally exist because the idea of the absence of God, the utter lack of him, would start to change somebody because the relationship with evil is completely untenable. Just makes perfect sense. But making up a third place in order to keep this concept of hell, but still have this idea of reconciliation with the non-mortal sinner. Just, I don't know, it makes sense to me. It's not something I believe. It's just that, of course, they would come up with that because these two concepts don't match. Well, they simply don't.
Well, I think...
my apology. I don't mean to take on the entire Catholic Church here.
No, it's fine. I actually, because I'm, even though I am Catholic, I also have a ton of issues with some of the teachings historically, because I can see, like, I'm interested in this because I can see where the schisms have happened. Even though, like I adore the Catholic Mass, and I go every Sunday, and I there's a lot of things about it that I love, and I think a lot of what the church teaches is essentially like really good. But I also think that historically the catechesis has been kind of bonked in a lot of directions. So, like, in purgatory, something I kind of struggle with because of like the whole point of Jesus dying on the cross is like, why would we have to suffer at all? Like, if we're going to heaven, like it just, but also, which I think is a Protestant perspective that I relate to. But there's also like everything you were saying, though I do find it interesting. I wonder because you were talking about like how untenable it is, this notion that hell would be eternal, because you're like, the only solution would be to say that God is unwilling, which is totally a contradiction of how he's described. Or unable. But the thing that I think I didn't hear you factor in, and maybe I'm missing something, but
sure,
the free will factor of people, right? So even if God is, let's say he's willing and he's able, the idea that we ourselves choose hell, and that's why we go there, because we choose to be separated from God in the way that we live our life. That means that even though that actually for me fits pretty well into the notion that God is both able and willing, but also he respects our free will, which is the whole point of what good and evil even is. So that, go ahead.
Oh no, I there's not a thing that you've said that I disagree with, except for the fact that that I think you have tested by that concept the very ideas of free will as being something that isn't influenced by its environment. If it takes 1,000,000 billion years, you cannot wish to remain in hell. You can't. There are things that our free will won't allow of us, and that's reflected in the Bible when it's discussed that that if you want to sacrifice yourself the same way that Christ did, you won't, you can't, you would be unable. If you were to see what Christ endured in order to save humanity from sin, you would just turn into a pile of jelly.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah.
And the fact is that if that's the truth, then you are already, then that is something that you just can't maintain an active free will against for eternity. I don't allow, at least in my own estimation, the idea of a single person managing to hold out for eternity against the inescapable love of God, as Thomas Talbot's book put it, for eternity. You can try, and people will. In fact, most people will. But you can't hold out. The fact is that good wins. This whole thing is about good wins.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the ending of the story is definitely written for sure.
Yeah. So I think that some people will be in hell longer than they need to be. Most people will be in hell longer than they want to be. But the fact is that God wants all of his children reconciled unto him. I believe he's willing. I believe he's able. And I have seen the way that good, truly just punishment has a tendency to reform people simply by the fact that the act of suffering for the things you have done is profound, rather than which is in direct contrast to others who would take the easy way out and simply accept the forgiveness. Mm-hmm. Punishment is mercy, is justice, is punishment, is mercy, is justice. So I think that there's I guess that's what that all comes down to, is that I'm a universalist because I just can't see hell lasting forever. It just doesn't make sense to me. And the idea that purgatory existed, the idea of purgatory being crafted whole cloth, again, I don't mean to be insulting.
No, it's okay. I've had these suspicions, so go on.
Yeah. Speaks to a desire to reconcile what the true bit of cognitive dissonance that we have been fighting with for thousands of years, which is that hell being eternal, the people you love are just going to suffer forever because they were unfit for the grace of God, just as you are. We may take a different path. We may have chosen different paths, and yours might be one I definitely don't want to take. But what we do here is very important. All the experiences we have here are too important. That's one thing that we can all agree on, that we're here for a reason. And I think that love, forgiveness, punishment, justice, mercy, they all come together. And none of those things come to watching the people that you were taught to love be obliterated.
So here's what's really interesting is that your concept of hell is almost verbatim.
Questions and comments in the chat.
Oh, sorry. We
well, I want to hear what you have to say. Let's get to those questions in a minute.
Your concept of hell is almost verbatim purgatory.
I suppose it's just I also maintain that I suppose that's true. It's just maybe I have the cartoon concept in my head of purgatory being not as bad as hell, but I don't know if that's true. I haven't read a lot of Catholic texts. Yeah. Frankly, I should. But if that's the case, then I would say it is hell that, in that regard, that doesn't exist, but purgatory does. I also think that the idea of it being an easy ride or it being at all pleasurable because it's bringing you closer to God is not something that my gut believes. I don't know. I haven't read any of the texts.
Maybe I misspoke. Not pleasure, but the way it was described was like
even contentment. I think finding contentment in being cleansed is a stretch in itself. I think I think you have to have a Dostoevsky-esque sense of true justice in order to see the appeal of being punished. And I believe that most people going to hell won't.
No, it's I see what you're saying. No, I think from what I understand of purgatory, and my understanding is limited because I came back to the church like earlier this year, and I'm like relearning a lot of stuff. But
welcome back, brother.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been amazing. I'm to the point where like I love talking about it. Clearly, it's I like reading scripture and like listening to debates between like Orthodox and Protestants and Catholics and like hearing everybody's perspective. It's just like I can't get enough of it. But
fashionably late. I'm just glad that you made it.
Me too. But like it's. Yeah. I think the notion of purgatory the only explanation of it that I thought for me was like, I'm still very skeptical of it, but the idea behind that you're essentially, it's not that you feel joy, it's more like you're passing through it with the knowledge that at the end you're going to be united with God. And so as a result, your willingness to endure that it's more like it's not suffering like sure. It's not suffering an absence of God. It's actually a suffering that decreases because the more you suffer, the closer you're getting to him until you pass through the membrane of it. So that's the contentment is like, this hurts, but I can't wait to get to the other side of this. Which I thought was interesting.
I haven't read the text supporting that. My gut's saying no. I mean, but granted, the heart is above all things deceitful. Yeah. But my gut's telling me no because I just don't think that any part of the cleansing of the soul, if you have not accepted forgiveness, is going to be at all a relief.
What do you mean not accepted forgiveness? Explain that.
Oh, if you haven't accepted forgiveness, if you're going to hell, if you have decided to turn your back on God and you're being sent to live with Old Scratch for a little bit, then I just don't think that I just can't imagine that the idea that you'll be with God soon is at all contentment.
Oh, well, but purgatory, you're not. Purgatory is not. Proximately has nothing really to do with hell. It's actually you're like you're not interacting with the devil or demons or anything demonic. I think that's maybe where you're differing from what I'm saying, or maybe you're not. Maybe
I see what you're saying. Well, I don't know. I believe that God sent us here. Doesn't it make sense that God sent us here amongst the wolves, amongst sin and pain and death and disease, and that is what is cleansing us and forcing us to choose. I don't think the idea that you have to go further into the depths of evil in order to be cleansed is all that wacky. I think that hell can be as cleansing because of the fact that you have to see what evil is up close. You don't get scared straight by going to school. You get scared straight by being sent to prison.
That's very true. Yeah.
That's just. Oh, should we look at some of these questions?
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Let me check the chat here. Let's see. Well, Gigi's so active in the chat. Edgar. So Edgar's Edgar. What are you? 14, 15 now? He's a friend of ours who he just left the Jehovah's Witness church, and he says, can you ask him what his opinions are on the Jehovah's Witness organization as someone who's leaving it? So he's kind of heard my opinion on it based on what I know of it, which is like obviously going to be pretty critical, and I didn't start criticizing until he left, so I could, like, you know what I mean, be like, okay, I'm glad you're out, because I don't think I particularly like some of the things that they teach, but yeah, sorry. He wants to know your opinions on it.
Breathe the free air, brother. We're glad to have you here. Yeah. Congratulations on getting out.
Yeah, exactly.
I have very little respect. In fact, okay, a couple years back, I had a religious freak out. Turns out that I've got a lot of compounding effects on my body that go up to my mind, and I had a huge freak out that was religiously based. It lasted for weeks, and I read a lot of literature, but before I read a lot of literature, I spent a lot of time just poring with bloodshot eyes over religious concepts online, right? And
yes.
And the thing that's made me stop and say, I've got to stop reading stuff online and start reading books in order to get past this, was me taking very, very seriously some of the some text that I had found that was starting to read wrong. Like, this seems cruel. This seems unchristlike. What is this? I look up and I see in my address bar the words jw.org. And I realize, oh boy, okay, I need to take a step back.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Yep, and we lived next to a JW church for a little while, but they didn't bother us. There was no problem with that. I just resent them, and that was just because of COVID.
That's fair.
Yeah, for what it's worth, congratulations. And if you can allow it to not dampen your spiritual relationship with the Lord, you'll be stronger for it. Yeah. They're people, we're people, we're all capable of sin, and we hurt each other a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
And as he says, often in his name, if you can find the exceptional wisdom and foresight to see past it, then your suffering is going to mean more than you realize.
Yeah.
The suffering that's behind you, not the suffering in front of you. And
I think also it's important to note that he's a teenager, and so
starting early.
Yeah. So what is likely, I think, to happen, because Edgar, it's okay if this happens, is some people, when they come out of a kind of an oppressive religious situation, they end up becoming atheists for a bit. But
and who can blame them?
Yeah, because your only experience of it is something that. But I told him, I was like, listen, like, Jesus loves you, bro, and like the Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't want to, like, because I know he has family that are still involved. That I'm not trying to shit all over. Like, I know that there's lots of good people that are, but they're
gonna attack your family.
But just
I'm sorry, I don't mean to say it, but they are.
What do you mean?
The JWs, they're going to try to make it so you can't see your family anymore.
Oh, I don't really know what's going on with his family, but I don't want to. I don't want to jump to conclusions there. Maybe they're okay with. I have no idea.
Fair enough. No, I know. That's me hoping it works out. Hoping. I'm wrong.
Sure, yeah. But just like the whole thing I said to him was, I mean, I sent him a quick message that was like, if you want to talk about this, you should definitely like reach out to me, because I'm not some like, you know, I'm not some great font of wisdom, but if you just want to like talk out your feelings about it, and like with somebody who is somewhat religious but also was very lax in his faith for years, like I can relate to your, you know, but yeah. So I think Will would probably agree with me, Edgar, when I say you go on your journey, you take care of yourself, you keep an eye toward God, and be mindful of the fact that one organization's teachings is not necessarily the truth of Christ, and you have a chance to reacquaint yourself with it in a way that's like, you know, between you and God, without all the noise.
There's an old George MacDonald quote that really got me through some hard times, which is that you would do more good to the Lord to deny what he said, to deny the words of his mouth, than to assume him capable of evil. You would do less harm to him. You should hold above all things God is good. And if you hear something that sounds wrong, there's a good chance it is. Yeah. In one way or another. That got me through a lot. I had to deal with a lot of for what it's worth, I was there during the Prop 8 stuff, or was it Prop 8? I don't know. And if you hear something I came out of a lot of that with I don't believe homosexuality is a sin. I know that's a extremely contentious topic. But the fact is that what started me off was the simple fact that I didn't want to believe, despite the Bible verse, Ecclesiastes 20:13, I did not want to believe the verse that God would so hate somebody for loving too much, is what came up to me. And I came across that quote, and I was like, you know what? It's scary to me. It's scary to dive into this. Scary to look further and find out, am I right? Am I wrong? Does it turn out that my God is a hateful God? Does it turn out that my God is prejudiced or wants you to suffer because of something you can't control? And it turns out that St. Augustine again. And there's this whole thing with the translation of Ish and Zakar, in that it turns out it's actually less of a polemic against homosexuality as it is pederasty, and then finding out that he's describing pederasty and describing it as an abomination, like it's self-evident. You're like, oh, that makes way more sense. Yeah, that is self-evidently an abomination.
But you and I might need to debate this off stream so we don't piss anybody off.
Maybe. Sorry, I went off on a thing.
No, it's okay. I want to be able to pick up the conversation about that, because I'm interested in that perspective on the translation. I have questions about it, but yeah, I want to. Well, let me just address what else is in the chat here.
There's
let's see,
Dan McClellan.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. If I did, or maybe I did and I forgot. Once fully purified, the soulmate. So okay, so I'm interested. Broken Blade says this sounds like the Zoroastrian concept of hell. The flames are not simply punishment, but are purifiers.
I was just studying Zoroastrianism for my game Inverse Ninjas. I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, that's funny that Zoroastrianism would come up.
It's interesting. It's interesting because how much of this is really, I guess a lot of this is not necessarily biblical, right? This is like perspectives that come.
Oh, sure.
So we are kind of trying to, at this point, it's like almost not even interpreting the Bible per se. It's like interpreting liturgy over thousands of years and things like that.
Naturally.
Yeah.
I maintain that one of the things that made C.S. Lewis as brilliant as he was is his absolute refusal to debate minor doctrine.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, we can all agree that the most important thing is that God is love. Love God above all things, and love your neighbor as you love yourself.
On that note, we may have to end the stream because it's 10 o'clock here, but I've really enjoyed this. Will, you should come back sometime, man. This was great.
I'd love to. Also, real quick, Edgar said something. I'm really glad you brought up the topic, because being queer is a massive part of my life currently and has been both a form of rebellion with my own identity, love, and oppression. and I'm not sure how Ryan feels on it, but for what it's worth, there is nothing you can do. There's nothing that you're capable of that will make God love you less. Sorry, it's impossible.
I mean, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I fully agree with that, and I think that's a wonderful thing to say, and I think it's absolutely true. And yeah, so the only reason I don't mean to rush to close.
No,
is just
it's 10 o'clock for you guys. No, you're good.
And my wife just came home, so I want to be able to spend a little bit of time with her.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow, look at the time.
Yeah, I didn't mean to take away your spotlight.
No, it's good.
I'm just hanging out.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna be on again, guys. I think I'm gonna be on again tomorrow because the comic book Knights of Camelot launches, so I might have a little bit of a launch party if anybody wants to jump on.
Ooh,
so
that could be fun.
Yeah, I'll do that. Have people call in and.
Oh, he's you know what? I'm gonna hand you off. Ryan, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm gonna hand you over to Maya to finish the stream.
Thanks, Will. Talk to you later, buddy.
Talk to you later.
Okay. The headphones are on. Hello.
Hey. So
the hand is gone. I've transformed. I have one head again.
I was just letting everybody know that I'm going to be on again, I think, tomorrow for my launch party stream for Knights of Camelot.
Yes. So, I never got around to asking you about that.
Yeah, it's kind of last minute because I wasn't even going to just do any streams this week because I was so overworked, and then some things cleared up, and I was like, I should probably still do it because that's starting, and I want to celebrate with the viewers and stuff because you guys were with me while I was working on that back in 2025, and so yeah. Anybody in the chat, if I didn't answer any of your questions about process or any of the stuff we talked about, just hop in again next stream and we'll talk it out. Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. Somebody was asking about what the tools you're using. What brush pens have you been using?
Oh, so I'm sorry I missed that question in the chat, guys.
That's all right.
I use the Pentel brush pen. This is what I've been using to do a lot of my inks for years. It's just a refillable brush pen you can get. It's like a synthetic brush and these ink cartridges that you just kind of attach onto it. And I use typical just Micron mechanical drawing pens. And I use lately these Ohuhu markers, which are like the ones that are super competitive with Copic. They're like Copics, but they're less than half the price of Copics. And in my opinion, they work just as well. So I bought the whole set for like a fraction, literally it's like $200, and the full set for Copics is like over $500. So and they work great. I love them. I've been painting with them. I've been doing commissions. They're wonderful, and I think they even have more juice in them. So yeah, but I gotta tune out, guys. I love y'all. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you to the Grossmans.
The Grossmans. I just want to say one last thing before we part ways. Earlier you had offered to talk with Edgar at any point if he wanted to chat with stuff, and I just want to give that same offer from a differing perspective. Somebody who isn't and never was religious, but
from me as well.
And Wilson also You asked about our opinions on JW and the fast and dirty, and I'm not going to linger long on it. It's a very large cult, and if you can get out, you should. Okay. That's all I'm going to say right now.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Everybody have a good night. Love you. God bless. See you tomorrow, baby.
Ciao, ciao. Bye, everybody.